see how impactful that Avery can be. It looks like both players now. James did have a few mulligans with confirmation of that, but prizes are going out. I see 1 copy of Zacian for Demi, 2 Curlier actually.
Ooh, that could be big.
Could be big. James has also prizes 1 copy of Radiant Greninja and 1 Volt, and 3 basic energy could actually be rather impactful. So we've got some interesting prize cards there, but it looks like our round 6 feature match is getting started. Demetris Eaton on left is going to start us off.
We had that chance for that fist bump with the handshake there as well between both players. But we do see the level will come down immediately for Demetris. A chance, an opportunity to work out what has been prized. Won't be too pleased, of course, but very quickly chooses the routes. Has access, of course, to rare candies.
Yep.
Doesn't necessarily need to utilize those Curliers to begin with. Maybe they're quite useful to the mid to late game where you can start using and keeping refinement for latter stages. But, you know, having access to those resources tends to be a lot better if you know where they are to begin with within your deck. But let's see how Demetris is able to sort of build out his board going first. Of course, won't be able to play a supporter on his turn or attack, and just has to focus right now on just making sure his board state is as clean as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, though. 2 copies of refinement in the prize cards, and as you do see, another level being played for another Ralts. And obviously, that means one of the other Courier that are left is going to be the Mirage Step one, so you can't draw cards with that. So that's going to be the first hurdle there for Demetris to try and hop over. Taz let the copy of Celebrations Mew in the active, though. Mysterious Tail going to let you look at top 6 cards of your deck and grab any item. So that is something to keep note of. Obviously, I can see Radiant Greninja, which remember is prized for James currently, is going to draw 2 cards off that concealed card, and Mysterious Tail is going to be used. So looking at top 6, take an item and shuffle the rest back. As we do see a Battle VIP pass as well. So you have to imagine when a lot of your Curly are prized, Alex, imagine getting down loads of Volts to be advantageous. So this is, as you said, rare candy is going to have to be more utilized.
Yeah, as they're both, as you're seeing them sort of being slammed down here from Demetri now, but he's also got to be wary of just what's available. I mean, he is staring at a Scream Tail in an active spot with James. As we do see just a pass over now. So the Battle VIP pass looking just to get one of those routes down, leaving that option available for Demetris later turns. You know, he doesn't have to utilize all 4 routes to begin with, and find spaces and the right moments to weave it in. James does have Battle VIP pass in hand, so can start getting board set up himself.
Wait, it's going to be a turn 1 Avery?
Could be massive.
It is.
I was going to highlight for you, we saw him play 2 copies of Avery in Dortmund Regionals, and he's taken this very similar list with the 2 copies of Avery this time. So Demetris, if he's just thinking maybe I'm safe now after just 1 Avery, maybe he's just not safe a bit later. But maybe that was just a great read by Demetris as well, not to overbench.
Potentially. Yeah, you never know. Like
things to think about.
This is the thing. You've got 2 world-class players. You can never truly, you know, they'll be operating as a chessboard here. I'm sure Demi already knows that James did play 2 copies of Avery in Dortmund, so might be still playing around that, even though traditionally, if you see 1 get used, you can think a second one could be very far away, unless Power Pad will be played or something along those lines.
But yeah, just a very easy choice from the Battle VIP pass here from James' side. Double routes, hasn't prized anything too major. I mean, doesn't have access to one of his routes and a Greninja. 3 energies is actually prized as well, which can inhibit him. But to begin with, at this early stage, he might be okay just to start going through single prizes.
I know that in the Gardevoir mirror, a lot of Moonglow Reverse ends up getting used, right? You know, trying to load up your Shining Arcana Gardevoir so they don't have damage on. In that scenario, having 3 Psychic Energy could prove impactful because you only need a lot of them to keep using Moonglow Reverse. So that could be something to keep an eye on for James.
Yeah, 100%. He is playing 10 copies of Psychic Energy compared to Demetris' 9. So we're seeing these little intricacies between the 2 different decks. Yeah, both players. Actually, just kind of noticed as well, Demetris is playing 3 copies of Reversal.
Yeah, that's actually something we spoke about. When I mentioned, he said he's going for a no frills sort of list, and one of the additions from that is the space for that 3rd Reversal, which could be huge when you're using Shining Arcana to sort of activate and get ahead on the prize race. As we do see a pass over to Demetris, a Refinement Courier is currently hitting the board. Now remember, that is Demetris' only copy of a Refinement Courier that is available to him, at least as of this time. So I have to keep an eye on what happens next.
So what would you be looking to try and do here, Shay? I mean, James only has the 2 routes on his side of the board, had to play an Avery. Is there a world where maybe Demetris is looking to try and take We'll try and slow down James here, but it looks like he's going for the setup, which, you know, in a Guardi mirror, you kind of spoken about it. It is a bit of a chess match.
It really is.
You have to, you know, make great reads on your opponent's sort of hand, how they're playing, how things are sort of developing.
Yeah.
And just kind of work it through. That means at the same time, James may have access to Mirage Step. So even if he takes that one route, it doesn't impact it too much. So Demetris is prioritizing his board state for the moment.
And you mentioned about reads there, and I guarantee James has realised, wait a minute, you've put down Mirage Step Curlier down. That's interesting. I want to keep a note of that. And I'm sure if Demetris doesn't use Mirage Step this turn, which we know he's not, James will instantly know, hold on, there's going to be some Curlier in the prize cards. That's a really weird line you've taken.
Yeah, it's a big tell. It's the same way we saw earlier in our first feature match of today, when Torda was able to read all of the energies on the board state and then use Tempting Trap Mobile to trap a Gardevoir player in a position of, submission, as it were. Yeah,
for sure.
As we do see the Artisan coming down with a Manaphy slam down as well, trying to limit what that Screamtail could do to his board. Like I said, it's all about setting up the board, making sure you're ready to, you know, react to how your opponent is able to play down their turns. And this is where it's going to get real interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because, you know, what you don't want to have happen is when the prize race does start, you can't really afford to falter, as we do see Demetris pass the turn over there to James, because once the prize race starts, if you miss a turn, it's game over. Yeah. So you need to make sure that, like you said, your board is set up sufficiently, as we do see a rare candy from James, going to evolve into Shining Arcana Gardevoir and use that ability. Look at top two, put them in your hand. Any energy can be attached.
Yeah, but I don't think there was energy.
No, there was not.
They go straight to the hand. Ultra Ball in hand now, so has double Ultra Ball, as Iono as well. So maybe could look for a way to use Mirage Step if it's not prized. We'll just double check. Yep, it's definitely not prized. So that is an out for James here, just to kind of build up that board. This is the scenario. We're going to set up all of my defenses, all of my walls, all of my ways of how I'm going to get into this game as soon as possible. As we do see the Mirage Step move to the top there, alongside all three of those refinement Curliers as well.
I think that gives us quite a good implication as to what James is going to do here. So we're going to see the Curlier. No shuffle. I mean, we're probably going to see Professor Churro to pick that Screamtail out of the active. And I imagine we're going to see a little Mirage Step in, and all suddenly the gang of Curlier will be hitting the bench.
Hasn't decided to use the Artisan as another card, keeping again that one space available as well. That could have been a route that James was utilizing, but at the same time, this is exactly what he wants, right? 4 Curliers out, 1 Shining Arcana Gardevoir already. Yeah. And Demetris is staring down at a board where he's having to try and protect himself with his 2 support Pokemon, that Mew and that Manaphy, just kind of sitting pretty and utilizing some space on the board right now.
As we do see the pass over to Demetris, going to evolve into Shining Arcana Gardevoir, use that ability, then use Refinement on Curlier as well, discarding a level ball. So that's 4 cards that Demetris has seen. We are going to have to start to see some attackers soon. James's board is, you know, I think James is winning the board state battle right now. So in that case, I would like to try and start a little bit of a prize race.
Yeah, we're both like itching in a bit. I'm sure you guys are at home as well. We want to see attacks. We want to see prizes taken, but this is how the top players are going to have to navigate this matchup. That Mew, unfortunately, Mysterious Tail hitting nothing.
That was a bit of a mysterious fail.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that didn't get anything right there. Come on.
I feel like you were far too excited for that. Just to get that out.
As soon as I thought about it, I was like, Alex, let me talk for a second. But yes, that Mysterious Tail did not have a target, unfortunately, for Demetris. So let's see what happens. I think did play a Worker as well, discarding the Artisan. So that's where the Artisan has gone. Cresselia is coming down. I had a feeling we are going to see some Moonglow reverse, which I think is very important in the Gardevoir mirror.
Yeah, maybe an opportunity to start thinking about taking down some of those refinement Curliers, just to try and limit where possible, as we do see the first Psychic Embrace of this game.
There we go.
That Mew, Celebrations Mew, and there's a second one, free, 60 damage opportunity for 4 Psychic Energies, now 80 damage available to be Moonglow's reverse to one of those Curliers.
So in case you're wondering what happened there, all those Pokemon that took a Psychic Energy did take 20 damage, but because Cresselia heals 20 and moves on to one of your opponent's Pokemon, there was no dice put down because those 20s essentially all got put on one of James's Curlier with Refinement. So that was a KO there for Demetris. That takes our first prize card here in our round 6 feature match.
Yeah, activating and finally taking the prize on his turn 3 We do see an immediate evolution up to the Gardevoir EX for James's side of the board now. Cresselia coming down himself, and an Iono, so limiting Demetris' hand down to 5, knowing also that there's not too much going on. It's only Shining Arcana for draw right now.
Yep.
So would you like to try and maybe target the routes here if there's an opportunity to Moonglow reverse from James's side? Let's just see the direction he's going to take.
Sorry, I just get a bit distracted there. So, did Demi take a prize? Oh, yeah, okay. My prize come on here. Well, okay. I just got worried. I didn't think he took it. It has my laptop here, unfortunately. But yeah, over to... So we did see the Iono being played. And let's see what happens now.
As we do just see both players just double checking what's going on. We'll get confirmation here. We'll just have a slight pause, it looks like. But yeah, just confirmation as well. Demi, from that Moonglow reverse, has... Or maybe, he did take a prize?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was that one, but it wasn't a refinement curlier, unfortunately. Yeah, it wasn't a refinement curlier, unfortunately. But it looks like we're going to see a concession. Okay. So...
It does maybe looks like there just may have been like a little misstep from Demetris' side. There doesn't look like a scoop up right now. That's very bizarre. But but let's have a little look. Wow, I mean, I'm not really too sure how to think about this right now. Well, it is a massive chess match. It is trying to work out your opponent's game plan. They're going to be trying to do exactly the same as you. It's going to be a massive mirror. This is the full definition of a mirror match here.
Yeah, and I think we were just about to see the sort of the Moonglow reverse wars there, as it were. But it looks like something's happened there. But then until we get confirmation as of what happened. But I'll tell you what, the Gardevoir mirror match, Alex. Golly, there's just so much stuff going on. You know, energy is so important. Prize cards are so important, and having energy in play without damage is also very important.
Yeah, I did just get quick confirmation. I believe that was a concession there. So because of an unfortunate additional draw, was likely to have been issued a prize penalty, which is really impactful in this kind of matchup, particularly if you kind of have to only take 4 prizes for your opponent, to take 4 prizes to take the victory, and that's where it's really truly impacted. As we've got a glimpse for Game 2's prizes there, we'll just quickly remind you it was a double refinement curlier again, and the Shining Arcana.
And worth noting as well, Demetris' first turn was just an attach and pass as well.
Yeah, not looking pretty here. Hopefully he can just recompose himself going forward here, just kind of, you know, wish all of that poor luck away from what's just happened in Game 1 and into Game 2, despite having a bit of a struggle here. Knowing James can't really take a knockout here, Demetri does have a turn to try and navigate out of this, maybe with a supporter, with some Mirage Step himself.
For sure.
Despite only having access to 1 refinement curlier. But he doesn't know yet. He doesn't know yet.
I mean, does have an Ultra Ball in hand, so he'll be able to Mirage Step next turn, but you're right, that'll only be for 1 more refinement curlier there. As it is James' turn, going to open us off with a Battle of our P-Pass, going to grab himself a Waltz and a Radiant Greninja. That's a sort of standard Gardevoir turn 1. It does have another access to another Battle of our P-Pass as well, so just debating on what to take there and doing a little prize check for himself.
Yeah.
As James did prize, 1 Waltz and a rare candy, nothing too impactful in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, maybe that boss's orders for a bit later could impact some of the gameplay, some of the direction he takes in this game plan, but nothing too crazy, as you kind of mentioned. He's in a good spot right now. Double Reaper.
Yeah, James has the Battle VIP Pass party going right now. Everyone's welcome. Waltz and Greninja.
And plays the Avery again. Obviously less impactful, just a draw free, but additional free cards. Can't knock that. We've seen it on Pokémon where they're just drawing free cards like that.
Instant charge, there we go.
We know how good it is, and if your opponent isn't really representing anything other than the energy attachment, you know, I'm happy to sit pretty here.
No, you are right. We are going to see a worker.
A draw free for himself.
There we go, yeah. Still no access to a level ball or a curlier, though. So
Ultra Ball,
yeah. Going to have to play that.
But this is it. This is where he's going to have a little look for his deck, his first deck search of Game 2 of this Round 6 feature match. There's a Mirage Step. He's just worked out.
Oh, yeah, you can tell. Look at the reaction. He's just worked out, yeah, if I do this Mirage Step, I'm only going to get 1 refinement curlier.
It's just one of those. It's what we have to work with. It's not all's lost yet.
Nope,
Intel comes down as well from the hand, and it is a Mirage Step just for the 1 refinement curlier, which does inhibit him going forward. It now comes down to whether James can capitalize on this scenario.
Do you think if you're James here and you can obviously work out that Demetris has prized 2 Curlier, do you ever start trying to do some Miracle Force, any other turbo attacks to try and close this game out faster, or no?
Yeah, I think it'll be, if I was in James's spot, knowing that there's only one refinement, as you kind of correctly mentioned, and what we've seen so far, just taking out, it doesn't matter if it's a knockout on the bench refinement Curlier, which can't do because there's no boss. If he's able to just take out a Curlier here, Demetris only left with one, of the Guardi line. Yeah. And that really, really slows him down because there's no other routes on the board right now, which maybe Demetris could try and go for a rare candy play and start swinging back himself. James is just finding himself in a really good spot, but it's only one direction he could take, right? Yeah. He could still play it slow, still try and get his board set up because remember, we're talking about this chess match in this mirror.
It really is.
But yeah, let's see the direction. I think it's a pretty simple Iono as well. Just to kind of get more energies. There's at least, I think, 2 energies.
I think there's 2 in the discard as of right now. So if James can draw into it, we could actually see a turn 2 Miracle Force here, which if you want to...
Oh, yeah, 2 energies already in hand.
Oh, wow, and some Ultra
It's nice and pretty.
Well.
And another Curlier.
And another Refinement Curlier as well. So just like James can start to go off to the races, they're going to refinement, discard that Psychic Energy. Remember, Psychic Embrace from Gardevoir EX means you can attach those Psychic Energy wherever you like, the Pokemon. Wait, could we even see a Moonglow reverse into the Curlier with refinement? I think there's enough energy.
I think there is enough energy now as well, and there's enough Psychic Pokemon on the board for James, because remember, Psychic Embrace unable to utilize it just for the Psychic Pokemon, of course, so it can't put on Greninja.
Nope.
But that's not an issue when you have 4 Psychic and those Curliers only have 80 HP. So easy targets, as we do continue to see the board being sort of grown here from James's side. An Ultra Ball for that Manaphy as well, just in case we start getting that Screamtail active.
Just to really close the door, just be like, right, so even if you do manage to get that Screamtail doing something, all you can do is hit the active, which most likely will be the Cresselia, at least of right now, if we sort of gather how James is going to plan this turn out. So we are going to see some Psychic Embrace here. James is going to move those energies. Remember, each one of these Pokemon will be taking 20. The active Gardevoir will probably be taking 40, as it does need to retreat as well. So it's going to be 40 on the active. And it's like James is going to be putting the dice on for. It's going to pay retreat into Moonglow reverse. So Psychic Embrace the active, that's 20, 40, 60. But remember, you got 4 on the Gardevoir. So that's 80 damage to be moved by Moonglow reverse to take out Demetris' Refinement Curlier. And James takes our first prize card here.
Yeah, here we go. Level ball here for Demetris. After that Iono refresh of the hand, of course, right now is sitting 1 game down against James here. So we'll need to try and play it out, try and find a way back into the game, of course, but only having to work with just the 1 evolving Gardevoir line currently, as you do see an extra attachment from hand to the Curlier in the active spot as well. And Iono coming down. Could we see maybe just evolving up to a Gardevoir EX and maybe start attacking with a Miracle Force for the time being? It's not the easiest to retaliate with from James's side. Just ask a few more questions there because Reversal Energy isn't activated.
Yeah, I think, you could go for a Miracle Force here. I mean, you could also, if you really wanted to go for the Moonglow reverse yourself and take out a Refinement Curlier, I mean, they do have 1 energy on them as well. You would need to find another Psychic Pokemon as it stands now. But you've got 2 energy onto the active as well. So retreat is definitely possible. No,
I can't remember how many energies are in Demi's discard pile right now as well, and of course doesn't have anything like the Radiant Greninja yet. Start maybe pitching some of those energies into the discard to start activating some more of those Psychic Embrace. Ultra Ball in hand, Artisan in hand. So there's a few different ways to try and navigate this turn right now, as we do see the Artisan and it activated. Looks like the Jirachi might be coming down just to try and stem the flow of what James is doing across the table from him.
Okay, so I think if we're going to see the Jirachi come down, that might include that we're going to see a Miracle Force here, maybe. Because you can sort of swing into the active and stop any potential Moonglow reverse via Super to maybe start hitting your bench rolls.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume with the Jirachi, it means he's going to retreat away from it. and Moongo Reverse himself, because then that way he knows that Moongo Reverse is only going to affect the active.
Right, I see.
Does have enough energies in the discard now with Psychic Embrace.
I got you.
There's the 8, just again representing the 20 damage on each of those Psychic Pokemon from Psychic Embrace, and going on to one of those curlies. Trying to slow down James's side as well, leveling up game 2 here. Really, really impressed by that play. I think that's kind of key from that aspect.
Because worth noting, James actually just doesn't play the Jirachi. So, you know, Moonglow Reverse will always be quote-unquote live for Demetris, whereas for James, you know, Moonglow Reverse can only hit the active thanks to that Jirachi's ability, Stellar Veil.
Yeah, fantastic ability, able to prevent all damage counters from being placed on your benched Pokemon. Don't forget that active is still susceptible to a Moonglow Reverse, as we do see James bench that Screamtail now as well, knowing that there's no protection from damage sniping using that Manaphy that is typically seen in these kind of sort of smaller HP decks to begin with as well. As we do see now the first pitch of that Battle VIP pass from Refinement, discarding a card, drawing 2. As he still does have his own sort of draw engine, which Demetris doesn't have. That's the biggest concern right now.
It's like Demetris can still play the game, but hasn't got a way to sort of, you know, draw cards, for lack of a better term, at least of right now. So let's see what James does. We're going to see the Shining Arcana being used. We're going to see concealed cards being used as well. Going to draw 2. A lot of energy in the discard pile there. Draws into level more energy as well.
All of those energies. James is in a really good spot, just in terms of how his board's beginning to kind of maneuver and set up himself right now. Right here, he's just looking and deciding whether he's going to play that Worker. Removes the Artisan from play. Another draw free. You know, that Artisan, the Worker being able to remove more impactful cards like Path to the Peak that we tend to see slow down Gardevoir decks. Just a great, you know, unique supporter to allow you to just draw 3 cards. And most people tend to think draw 3 isn't enough, but when your hand's already drawing so many cards, it's plenty. As you do see that manual retreat here.
There we go, yeah. So we are going to see the Shining, not Shining, kind of Psychic Embrace, I should say, to the Screamtail, so we can see that Sealing Scream or Roaring Scream, I should say, into the active for the KO. But I think you're right. You're mentioning about how, and a lot of times, drawing 3 just isn't good enough. But when you know, as we are going to see that Roaring Scream into that benched Volt, I should say, and Manaphy, unfortunately, slightly too late, as Demetris does play that Iono. But yeah, when you're drawing so many cards via Refinement and things, all of a sudden drawing 3 from a supporter is okay.
Yeah, you could just keep going that way. Unfortunately, as you just saw, and you've mentioned there, Shay, Wave Veil was not live on the previous turn, so Screamtail was able to take down that routes that Demetris was trying to set up. As he does find another level board to get another routes down, he really needs to try and figure out his best way to protect himself here. And going forward, as he sends forward his own Screamtail now to try and take out this active. Of course, James does have that Manaphy on his board as he loads up 2 further energies onto the Screamtail, 40 damage on it, and Roaring Screams back.
Yeah, they're literally just shouting at each other. Like, you get out of my face. No, you get out of my face. As it looks like we are going to see 2 prize cards there being taken for Demetris. Unfortunately, still hasn't managed to take a Refinement Curlier or a Shining Arcana Gardevoir, as it is over to James's turn now, as he promotes Shining Arcana Gardevoir with 1 energy.
Yeah, real back and forth here. Again, we're going to need to try and think about how we're going to do that jump, protect yourself from a potential massive knockout. When is that turn really going to happen? That's what they've still got to start thinking about mapping here.
Sorry, we do see the Avery being played there for James. Devastating mirror card, forcing Demetris to discard 2 bench Pokemon, as he did have 5 in play.
And I think that was the second time he's played the Avery in this game alone already. I think he played it turn 1, just to again draw cards.
Yep.
And now just showing that, you know, double Avery is part of your caster prediction today.
It was.
This is Gardevoir with Avery, baby. This is it. This
Avery,
is,
baby.
This is them trying to limit your opponent. This is the game plan. This is how a lot of decks now are trying to combat the rise of Gardevoir once again.
Yeah, Avery, super strong card in my opinion. So I've picked it for, I think, half of my caster predictions here this season. Terrific card, especially in Gardevoir. Like you said,
that's half?
I think maybe it could be slightly more. I think I've only picked 3 once, actually. It's like 3/4. But yeah, like you said, when you're drawing so many cards via Refinement and Shining Arcana, all of a sudden drawing 3 while making your opponent discard 2 bench Pokemon is plenty enough. As we do see James playing a Super, we're going to shuffle in a Volt, a Curlier, and a Screamtail, I believe. Yeah.
I mean, now that Manaphy's gone, obviously Demetri's not going to send away one of his routes or Gardevoir EX Pokemon. And he's only seen the Mooglo reverse Cresselia there on the bench. So it makes sense to get rid of and discard the Manaphy for the time being, keeping his Jirachi in play. But we do see James just picked the Rolts and benched that for the time being.
And that's what that Avery is really good for, right? If your opponent is going Manaphy, Jirachi, Avery just says, no, you're not anymore.
Yeah.
It's that simple, because if you keep them both, you're going to limit your evolving basics or your attackers. So you have to get at least one of them, as we do see the Shining Arcana retreating, and we're going to see some Psychic Embrace. Again, going to spread these damage out. So we've got 2 on the Gardevoir EX already. And then I'd imagine, was that a manual or was that a... No, okay, no, that was a Psychic Embrace one. There we go. And there was one to the active to get it to retreat, the active Gardevoir, I should say. So there's an effective 60 damage in play right now.
Perfect number. Well,
it is.
Not quite a perfect number. Could have been 50, 50 would have been perfect, but more than enough to take it out. The active Screamtail here now. As we do see the reversal energy also just kind of attached manually from hand. You know, because James is always one prize ahead in this race, those counter catchers or reversal energies aren't, for the time being, ever going to be live unless he falls behind. So Demetris right now does have options available, additional options available for him to kind of level up the playing field. As we do see a Psychic Embrace the active, not much else going on other than that level ball and just a Miracle Force to take out that Cresselia in the active spot. This is where James putting back that Screamtail back in the deck now continues to just kind of really cause a bit of an annoyance for Demi's board, because he can keep removing those routes as Demi has taken the Shining Arcana Gardevoir from his prizes. 2 Curly is still sitting there hiding away, unfortunately, for Demi.
2 out of 3 prize cards being your refinement Curly, not what you want to see as a Gardevoir player when you're currently 5-0 and you're on stream. As James just started to turn off doing concealed cards, and you're right, the Screamtail right now is going to be really strong. Or so could be a Storm Slash, which could easily carry this Gardevoir. I see a ton of Slack Engine at discard there. And we're going to see an Iono as well.
Wow.
That is Iono plus a KO when your opponent has no onboard draw power. This right here could tie us up. Oh my goodness gracious me.
Yeah, this Zacian, I think that's the reason why James was beginning to kind of spread out his energies for his discard pile, just to double check what's available for himself to be able to really...
Oh, I think he hit some energy there as well, but didn't opted... Oh no, when did it go to the active?
Yeah, just kind of protected from taking more damage. Just means he can maybe just put 1 to bring it down to retreat, and then start thinking about loading up that Zacian. There's the refinement, further 2 energies. There we go. We get confirmation. By Shay.
Confirmation. That means you're in trouble.
Yeah. Here we go. There's 4. There's 8.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant there. So 8 times 3. Plenty of damage going onto that Zacian. 150 plus the additional, I guess, 5 energies as well. Just perfect 300 damage there. With already 20 on that Gardevoir EX. It's counter.
Is it going to counter catch you good? No, you give a counter.
And the Iono of his own.
Okay, are we going to see a repeat of what Tor tried to do? Right, we just say, well, all your energy are in play. How about I bring up a Pokemon that you can't Psychic Embrace to, and let's see if it can just stay there. So it looks like
there's a what's happening there? Just kind of get confirmation.
Trying to debate what cards are from the Iono. I
think it was just a little bit messy. Just making sure we're tidied up.
Fair enough.
You see a Super Rod being played here by Demetri. We do have a level ball in hand as well. Can kind of draw through the cards, but we'll need a few more turns, maybe to start spreading some damage.
Yeah.
And maybe of course that's the only Curly he has access to with refinement. Chooses to the Cresselia instead, because he will need to start sniping away from the active to leave it just trapped there as long as possible.
Yeah, it's a really strange scenario here, because you really do want to start attacking with the, like you said.
There you go. That's the hand out, but it does have refinement. Curlier coming down.
There we go.
Alongside, so there's double Curlier now. Again.
The first time this game, right?
Hey, well, he's
oh, no, true. No, true. No, you are correct. You are correct.
Yeah, it's a similar board to where you had before. There's the energy attachment.
There we go. As James Cox has the energy attachment, and Demetris is just going to concede, and James Cox is our round 6 feature match winner, advancing to the record of 6 wins, 0 losses.
Yeah,